Portugal held colonies for over 500 years, longer than any European empire in history. Then, in just 18 months, the entire thing collapsed. This is the story of how African liberation wars brought down Europe's oldest colonial power and changed the world forever. By 1961, Portugal was fighting 3 simultaneous wars in Africa: Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea-Bissau. While Britain and France were decolonizing, Portugal's dictator Salazar refused to let go. He called the colonies overseas provinces and poured everything into keeping them. Half of Portugal's national budget went to these wars. Young Portuguese men were drafted by the thousands, sent to fight guerrilla movements they couldn't defeat. The African fighters knew the terrain, had popular support, and were receiving weapons from the Soviet Union and China. Portugal was losing badly. By 1974, Portugal had spent 13 years in unwinnable wars. The economy was destroyed, soldiers were dying for nothing, and the Portuguese people had enough. On April 25th, military officers staged a coup. They rolled tanks into Lisbon with carnations in their gun barrels. The Carnation Revolution overthrew the dictatorship in a single day, almost without bloodshed. The new government immediately began negotiations to end the colonial wars. Within 18 months, Portugal granted independence to Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Cape Verde, São Tomé and Príncipe, and Angola. An empire that had lasted since 1415 vanished faster than anyone thought possible. Over 800,000 Portuguese colonists fled Africa overnight, abandoning everything. They arrived in Portugal as refugees from their own colonies. The newly independent nations inherited devastated economies, Cold War proxy conflicts, and decades of violence. Angola and Mozambique immediately plunged into civil wars that lasted another 20 years. Portugal itself transformed from dictatorship to democracy, joined the European Union, and tried to forget its imperial past. What nobody teaches you is this: African resistance didn't just win independence, it toppled a European government and ended the longest colonial empire in human history.